And this is What's Good from the Desk of the Therapist. Super excited to have my girl as a special guest today. Ooh, y'all have no idea. I'm going to need to do a drum roll for this one. But without further ado, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Will you please introduce yourself to the people?
Hi, what's good? My name is Christa Frazier. I'm a mother of two, a 21-year-old son and a 25-year-old angel son. I also am the founder of the Dijon Anderson Foundation, where I did a college tour with 40 children back in 2017. I also have my own football organization, the D3 Warriors. Well, we had it, but it's taking a little break. And I'm also a cheerleading coach. So I'm doing a lot of things in the community. That's me.
That's her. It's my girl, y'all. It's my girl. And so Christa and I go way back. We go way back to McDonald's days, right? 14 years old.
Working the
at McDonald's. Oh my goodness. But we are here as much as so much love is in the room. And you and I, skate partners and all of that. This is my girl. I love her. But today we are here to talk about a very, very serious topic. And that is going to be Christa's experience tragically losing her son to gun violence. Christa, tell us a little bit about Dijon.
Dijon, my baby.
Yes.
Dijon was a Warren Central football player, star football player.
Let me add that
to it. I can't take that from him. He was a star football player at Warren Central. To graduate in 2017 of June. Unfortunately, he was killed, but the good thing about Dijon had goals and dreams. He was played on 7-on-7, so he traveled. He got plenty of awards and acclamations from people. The city knew him, the world knew him. He was a very special child. Unfortunately, like I said, he lost his life to gun violence, so that was a tragic. He didn't get to graduate, but he definitely was recognized well by the community and his friends and peers and everyone that loved him.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And I had the privilege of knowing Dijon personally. He and our oldest son played football together for many, many years.
Many years.
And we traveled. Sometimes you were there, sometimes you were not when we traveled with the 7-on-7 team, but he was definitely something special and obviously has made a huge impact on his peers in the community. And we'll talk a little bit about that, right? Can you take us back to that day?
That day is very emotional. I'll never forget it. I was at work. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to work that night. It was May the 5th. I had spoke to Dijon. He went to school that day, and then he went to work. He worked at Home Depot, where he danced in the parking lot. That's what he did. I don't know what he did at work, but that's what he did. But anyway, I talked to him on my last break, and it was at 10 o'clock at night. And the night before, Dijon had missed curfew, so, now technology, you got rings and ring cameras and everything, so you could check your alarm and see what time the child came back home. And so anyway, he was a normal child. He did things, he wasn't perfect. So he missed curfew on a Thursday night, which Friday nights I usually let him stay out a little bit later because of football and, they go celebrate. So his curfew was 1. So since he missed it on Thursday, I told him he couldn't hang out, that Friday night. So I don't know. It was just something in that phone call that just wasn't right, when I spoke to him. But anyway, I told him, I didn't never tell him what time I got off work. So I just told him on purpose. No, you don't know what time I get home. You're going to be worried. So anyway, he didn't go home that night. Him and his friends decided they was going to drive to the west side. So I was supposed to get off at 1 o'clock, but I got a phone call at like 12 o'clock. At work or through the intercom, and I'm like, nobody pages me at work. I'm always doing what I'm supposed to do. Nobody really pages me, so it was kind of weird that I heard my name. And so I go to the security guard, and I see him holding up the phone, and my heart dropped because nobody calls me at work. And I will never forget the scream that I heard on that other side of that phone, which was my sister, that something had happened to my son. And we're from the east side, the far east side. So I'm like, I have a long drive to get to my son. But in actuality, he was only like 15 minutes away from me on the west side, on Muller Road. So that was the longest drive of my life to get to my son, to the scene. And I don't know, it's like Twilight Zone to me. So that part, I don't really remember when I got there. I just remember seeing lights and tape. And someone was laying on the ground. I didn't know who it was at that point. So, like, I'm just like, is that my child? And then once the detective came to me, was like, you know, reading off everybody who was involved and where they were at the time. My son was at the hospital. So I don't know. I don't remember how I got to the hospital. I got there, and crazy thing is, a lot of people don't know. I got to speak with my son that night, and it seemed like he was going to be okay. Like, you know, we had a conversation. It was just like, boy, when you get home. But I had to realize, like, something just happened, you know. And I said, I love you. So we're going to get through this. We got work to do. And he looked me dead in my face and said, yeah, we got work to do. And I said, I love you. And he said he loved me. And, you know, unfortunately, they had to put him under because of, I don't know, but they put him to sleep. And when they put him to sleep, that's when everything kind of went left. And we were in the hospital for 2 weeks with him fighting. And a lot of people don't know that it was sometimes I thought I had already lost him, you know. But I had a lot of people in the hospital with me, praying with me. I remember you coming and laying on the hospital floor.
On the hospital floor. I meant that thing, honey.
And honey, I will never forget that prayer. You know, I remember a lot of things, and a lot of things I don't remember. But I'll never forget you coming and laying face down on the floor praying next to my son. And I appreciate that.
I love you.
But it was very hard on, you know, May the 27th when he actually took his last breath in front of me. It was hard to let go, but it was nothing that the hospital, like the doctors they were amazing. Like, I got a lot of calls to me. We need to start suing. Like, no, like I watched them work. I mean, you can only do what you can do, and me and God, that's my best friend. So I had already prepared myself for whatever may happen, you know. And I had my pastor, Pastor Corey Duncan. Amazing.
Pastor Duncan,
amazing. That is my guy. Like, he's my pastor. He's my friend. He was there for me. I can remember calling his wife and saying, "Tell your husband to come home." And Lady Tamika Duncan is the mom. She said, my husband is right where he's supposed to be. But that man stuck with me every day. Every day he would go home and come back. He would take me home, take a shower, and he would be there with me. I was there with one of Dijon's aunts when it happened. Everybody else had kind of went back to work. It's 2 weeks, you know. People had to still go and live their lives and stuff. But at that moment, when I had to let go, I knew I had to. Was the hardest part of my life, but I knew God had him.
Absolutely.
So the journey has been hard because, you know, I had to watch his friends graduate. I had to watch his friends move on and go to college. You know, he had a full-ride scholarship to Southern Illinois, and I would be counting down. We almost there. And it got snatched from me, you know, and it was just what he wanted. And so to be starting to get college things together, like getting ready to buy things, and to have to change that and take his open house invitation down off of Facebook and put up a funeral arrangement, not buy a microwave, but have to pick out a casket. Like, it was tough. And I don't wish that on nobody. Like, this pain, people see me and they feel like, oh, she's doing it. Painfully though, but with God on my side, I'm getting through it. My son Jalen, he struggles because he always tells me, like, we're supposed to be growing old together. I'm doing this by myself. I miss my brother, you know. So he feels like he's growing alone, and they share rooms for so long, you know. So I'm sure there's things that are coming out now that I'm like, I was doing what?
Right. Be a teenage boy.
Absolutely. So I mean, you know. That's my story. It's hard, but I'm getting through.
So let me ask you, like, we hear the term sometimes used, purpose in your pain. You know, I know the founder of that organization, but purpose. How have you found purpose? How have you been able to move forward? How?
I know DeAndre too. Like, that's my girl. To be honest, like I never really grieved. To be honest, I just started moving and helping because when I was in the hospital, a lot of the kids see me, and I was just trying to be strong for everybody else.
Yeah.
And that was just how I was getting through at first, right? And I'm like, okay, I just keep going. I do this. I gotta do this. I gotta create this. I gotta make sure his name is, stays alive because that's who he was. He loved us. We lied is what he said.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to just be that person that I know he wanted me to be.
Yeah.
So I created the Dijon Anderson Foundation. I took these kids on a college tour because that's what I did with him. I didn't get to graduate on time because I was pregnant with him.
Yeah.
Then here comes, he didn't get to graduate because he was cooking for me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I have to make sure that I create something to keep his name alive. So you got the Dijon Anderson Foundation. We do the college tours. We get scholarships. I started a football organization. I'm cheerleading coach. Like, so I was just going until I realized, like, wait a minute, what about me? I'm doing this for him, and I know he's proud of me. But I started falling apart because I wasn't taking care of me.
Absolutely.
So I started seeing a therapist.
Yes.
And that was something that I just never thought to do. But it really has changed my life.
It's been life-changing.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned Jalen.
That's my baby.
How's he doing? How has he been able to adapt, or has he been able to adapt?
He does pretty good. I feel like when Dijon passed, like Dijon was the man of the house. I know people say, you're not supposed to say that about the kids, but he was.
He was a strong personality.
He had a strong personality, and he actually was that person for Jalen when I had to work. I was a single mom, and so Jalen, like, kind of grew up real quick. Like, he had to grow up to be this man because I watched my brother be this man. So now I got to be there for my mom. And he has matured so good. Like, he's not an average 21-year-old. He reminds me of 35, 40-year-old grown man. Yeah. But he's doing good. But he has his moments like everybody else, and it's normal. And I try to tell him, like, it's okay to cry. Yeah. Our black men are always like, you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to be this person. No. You need to cry and let it out. You have feelings. That was your brother. That was your best friend.
Absolutely.
So he has his moments, and when he has them, it's rough for everybody. Yeah. And we just let him have his time. He'll go to the cemetery and stay there for hours, and then come back home. You can just see he's been crying. And that day is rough for him for the rest of the day. And then the next day he's back to doing him. He's in a relationship, so he's chill. So he's doing good.
So I know you got your other two babies that you hold very near and dear to your heart.
And them boys.
How have they helped you? Tell us about your babies.
So I have Tank and Smoke. So Tank actually, it's two dogs, okay? I don't know they're not my babies. They are actually my emotional support dogs. And I didn't, I never thought about getting a dog. Like, I remember getting a dog when I was little, and I hid it in the closet. My mom was like, get that out of here.
Not to hit the dog in the closet.
Yeah, I never got another dog. We wasn't raised with animals, So I was like, I don't know how these people love these dogs. Like, these people be crying and stuff. But Tank, actually, we got him. It's crazy because Jalen said to me, this is before all this happened. Mm-hmm. Jalen said, Mom, you're going to have another baby before Dijon goes to school, or you can get me a dog. I said, I'll choose plan B.
That part. No more kids.
So crazy thing is, me and Dijon went out and picked out Tank. Tank was like this little.
Wow. Wow.
And so Dijon held him first. And so Tank has been through this whole transition with us. And he has became like this, I ain't gonna say person, but he's like
he's almost human like.
He's like a human, like he knows when we're, when he knows when I'm having, my day. Mm-hmm. And even so, he'll play with his ball. And I used to have this picture on the floor of Dijon. Mm-hmm. And if that ball hit the picture, he'll start crying. Oh. And he'll go over there and try to I don't want to touch it. And he'll take his little paw and gently take the ball. Yeah, and he's rough, but we ended up getting smoked because we felt like Tank was being alone a lot. Uh-huh. That was our baby, so we was like, well, he needs somebody to talk to too, whatever. And so both of them have become a part of our family, and they are amazing. They are emotional support.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I love them.
So I know sometimes I hear that visiting the gravesite is often very, very difficult for those who have lost a loved one. However, you are intentional to go and spend time with your baby. Talk a little bit about the why behind that and how it's helped you.
So when he first passed and he didn't have a headstone, I didn't like how it looked. So I was out there every single day changing the flowers. I mean, every day. Changing flowers, making sure it's nice, you know. And it was crazy because the man, like, I guess it's an older man that, you know, he just circles the, he ain't even the groundkeeper. I just think he just retired.
He just be there.
Yeah, and he came up to me one day, he was like, "You're the graveyard angel." And I said, "Well, I guess you can call me that." He's like, "You've been out here every day. You know what? I haven't seen a funeral like that since or before your son." He said, "I wish I got to know him before that happened." And he told me, he said, "I'm going to tell you something. Somebody's out here every day to see him." And that made me happy too, because like sometimes you think about like people just forget.
Oh yeah.
But ain't nobody forgot about my baby.
That's it. And you ain't gonna let us.
And I ain't gonna let y'all. And so I go out there, you know, holidays I change it. And it actually helps me. But then I started, somebody had said something to me like, "Oh, you need to stop going out there so much. It's like you're having a funeral all over again." And it kind of made me mad because I know what it does for me. Absolutely. That's our time, you know. Absolutely. I do realize that's just a shell, but that's where I get my peace from when I can just go have my time with him and decorate and make it look beautiful. And when his headstone got put out, which is amazing. If you haven't seen the headstone, oh my God, go to my page. But it really helps me. Yeah. But I did kind of slow down on going every day. So now I kind of go like once a month, or like if I know like if I need to change the flowers, I haven't been out there because right now he still got this big old candy canes out there. So I do need to go out there and change it. But it does. It helps me. And some people can't. Some people can't. Some people can. And there's no right or wrong way to grieve or how you feel. Like, it just is what it is. It's good for me. Like, absolutely. It helps me.
So let me ask you this, sister, friend. Look into that camera for me. And what would you say to the parent who has lost their child tragically as well? Give them some hope, speak life encouragement. What would you say to them?
First and foremost, I know God, and I try not to get religion with people, but I feel like that's what helps me, because if I didn't have God in my life, I would not be who I am today. Also, I see a therapist. I know a lot of people are against therapy. It's the best thing, the best decision, the best investment that I've ever had in my life. Like, it has helped me. Like, I can't even explain. And then there's a time like you might see a therapist and it might not be for you. I've had one. I had one when it first happened and it didn't work for me. Me and her just did not connect, and it's okay. You are allowed to, whatever is good for you. You know, you have to find that right person that you're connected with. But my therapist is my ace, my boon. That's my best friend. Like, I'm going, and I don't just talk about Dijon. Like, I talk about life, because life is life and life be life. And you need somebody to talk to. You need somebody you can trust. And I just say, seek therapy. Seek therapy. It is good. It is not a bad thing. And I feel like everybody in the world needs to see a therapist, but especially people like me and anybody else that has lost a child. You need that. Also, I go to different group therapy sessions in the city. Like, anything I see positive. I just did a sip and paint event, and it was a lot of women there that are saying to me, they see me on social media and say, "I want to be like you." And I have to explain to them, I'm like you. You know, this is not okay. I'm not okay. I just don't get my phone out and cry on social media. But at the end of the day, I'm hurting too. I'm grieving. And you have to give your time to grieve. You got to give yourself time to grieve. You have to give yourself time to think about what just happened, you know, and you talking about it. Like, this is therapy to me. Absolutely. You know, speaking on great things, the memories of, everybody has memories of their children. Think about the good times, not always the bad. Also, one thing I did that helped me, I stopped counting down the days that he's been gone. Like, that is one thing that was like, I'm like, oh my God, we're 365, 3,000, something like, it has to stop. Like, you have to, that's just not good, or it's not healthy. And once I stopped doing that, I got to think about, like, my mental went to the good things, not the bad. But you will think about it, like, my child is never coming back, and I have to just learn how to get through this and live through it. And you can get there too.
I love it. I remember us having a conversation and a prayer, because, you know, we pray together.
Absolutely.
And so it was me asking God to give you peace, but when he gives you peace, for you not to feel bad about having peace, because I feel like sometimes when you lose a child, you don't want to be happy. You feel guilty for being happy. Absolutely. So is that okay to have peace?
Absolutely. I used to feel like that. Like, on my birthday, my son treated me like a queen, okay? So when my birthday came, even if he couldn't give me nothing, he would wake me up. You know, my sons are my kings. And so on certain holidays and stuff like that, I used to be like, no, I'm just supposed to stay in the bed and cry and not be happy. I'm not supposed to be celebrating this or that or be happy. And so I used to do that at the beginning. But now I'm like, but he would want me to. You know, he was about family, so Thanksgiving he would be excited. So now I get excited about Thanksgiving, you know, for him.
Yeah.
You know, not just for me, because if it was up to me, I'd just stay in the bed with the covers over my head, close the blinds, you know. But it's okay. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to smile, you know, because I think about what would Dijon want. He would be so mad at me to be sitting here crying on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, you know. I threw the Christmas tree away the first year, like I'm never celebrating Christmas again. I don't have my son. That was, you know, he loved the holidays. You know how to think about it, like, you got the rest of your life to live. Are you going to live it sad, depressed? He's watching you.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
Smile. It's okay. It's okay to smile.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much. Before we go, 2 things. Please give your affirmations. And then after your affirmations, tell the people where they can find you at, how they can follow you.
Well, I told her, you know, this thing, I don't really, you know.
Give your affirmations.
I'm strong, vibrant.
Yes.
Blessed.
Yes.
Loving and caring. I just want to say this. Love you. Love yourself. Loving yourself first is the best thing you can ever do in your life. You can follow me on Facebook. I think you can follow me on Facebook. You know, we talked about this. Like,
they can definitely follow you on
Facebook.
Follow
me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I think it's C Frazier 27. And my name is spelled CHRISTA FRAZIER. And I got a little hat on in my profile on Facebook, so you know who I am. And then Dijon is on the back with Jalen in my background, so you know who I am.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, friend.
You're welcome.
Well, as y'all heard today, we had an opportunity to reflect with my girl, my friend, my sister. I want you all to stay encouraged. You are not by yourself. You are not alone. Someone can empathize with you, but there is hope. There is help. There is life after a tragedy. Until next time, please stay encouraged. Be blessed. Have an amazing day intentionally. I love you. Bye.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began.